I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I know, big surprise that I'm doing that, right? But as part of doing that, I am going to be discussing the instances that I witnessed or experienced racism throughout the game and really trying to sit down and think, was this necessary? Now, to be fair, I don't think racism is necessary in any sort of setting outside of a very specific context, and that context is education, which requires a lot of things for it to actually be useful in that, and we'll talk about that at some point, right? But the point being here, as I'm playing through Baldur's Gate, I'm going to come back over here, make videos about the racism I've either seen or I've either witnessed or personally experienced, and just explain how it's kind of useless in the game. And this is a stance that I have about pretty much all fantasy settings. I think racism is useless, boring, and harmful in the majority of TTRPG settings, video game settings, and it doesn't actually need to be there. And so, I'm going to talk about it.
Turn the game off!
That's a question, isn't it? First thing I want to say is I haven't financially supported Larian Studios at all. I didn't pay for this game. I got it for free. A buddy of mine was a paid playtester along with a couple of other titles and had some codes and gave those to us, and we just got the game for free. I mean, the next part of this is there are games and stuff that I have been like, hey, don't buy this, like Hogwarts Legacies, because the game itself not only has bigotry in it, but the person, who's financially supported by this is using those finances to engage in real world bigotry against people, right?
Hogwarts Legacy was an internet trend spearheaded by a bunch of people who can't just realize that life sometimes needs escapism, and a video game is the perfect piece of escapism, and you are running around crying, bitching, and moaning, oh my god, your trans friend sees you buying and pre-ordering and playing this game. Don't stream the game because it's an infringement on the transgender community. You're not transphobic and want to play the wizard game? Congrats! You know who also likes the game? Transphobes. It doesn't matter what you believe or if your trans friend okays it. By playing the game, you open your community to horrible people and the space is no longer safe. This is supposed to be fun. People are supposed to be having fun. The problem is that people want to associate social problems with everything. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get a good look. Hold on. Wait. Open yourself up to horrible people. Wait a minute. That's the only person. Are you mad and upset at a black man with a wand in the year 2023 during Black History Month? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You better check your white privilege because you don't look black, sir. Hold on, let me get a good look at you. Ooh, you definitely ain't black. I hate this oppression Olympics game y'all won't play because y'all only want to play it with your own group. Need I remind y'all, I'm black. I got rank. If you play Overwatch, you support sexual assault. You play COD, you support the Russians attacking Ukraine. You tweet from an iPhone, you support forcing children to work in abusive conditions. How far do y'all want to play this dumbass game? Also, I'm streaming. You made websites trying to keep track of people who played that wizard game. Spoiler alert, your boy was on that list maybe 3 times. It's right there. I'm on the list. They got me. I'm on the list, chat. Oh, no. I'm on the list because I dare play a video game. What's next? Are y'all gonna make a website for the people who still play Overwatch? And you all thought that you were doing a good job for a video game when in reality, people bought it just to fuck with you. And after a week and people spent time playing the game and beating the game, no one cares about the game anymore. Why? Because it's a single player game with no DLC and no traction past the point because you plebeians in the video game world don't respect single player video games anymore because you want to yell at people playing Call of Duty.
I feel like in situations like the current one, like as far as I'm aware, Larian Studios isn't doing what J.K. Rowling is doing as far as finances and bigoted things, and neither are the devs. So I think in this instance, it really comes down into a case-by-case basis. Like, it's really up for you to decide, hey, do I want to play this game? Like, I know it's got racism in it. As far as I'm aware, they're not using that money to, like, also engage in, like, unquestionably, engage in bigotry that's harming people. I'm not judging anyone that chooses to play the game and is not doing so out of, like, the reason I'm doing it, to educate people. Most of the reason I'm doing it to educate, like 65% of it is education. And of course, I support anybody, especially people of color, that, like, I'm not playing this game because I don't want to deal with racism. I deserve escapism as well. I will judge you, of course, if you buy the game and you're just, like, kind of hand-waving the racism and stuff. It's fine. It's no big deal. Like, that is where the kind of judgment comes in on my part. So, yeah. In this particular instance, again, it's very much just like, what is your level of tolerance for this?
The racism in Baldur's Gate is genuinely so fucking hard on me. Playing as a Tiefling as a black person is brutal. Your party members antagonize you, the game antagonizes you, and a plot positions you the bad guy if you don't help the druids calling you slurs. Like, if I don't help the druid who is going to execute a child of my race for being of my race, I lose access to the Karlach. I save the druids and they insinuate I'm a disease. If I fail the druid quest, a massacre of my people is on my hands. What the fuck? I come home from a long day of microaggressions and masking, and then my guard is immediately back up. I should be stressed that I'm making bad decisions, not because Lizelle keeps threatening to kill me in my sleep for having horns, and for white players, this is just a fantasy. I didn't expect this much traction because, of course, once you tweet something pointless, you end up getting traction for it. I didn't expect to get this much traction off of this. I like this game. It's a good game. Everyone's gonna feel different. If you're white and taking a moral stance over the game that's louder than BIPOC, then consider if you are doing that to feel good about yourself. Y'all be easy. And of course, once you realize that someone's saying y'all be easy, it's supposed to mean they're done tweeting. But you know that's not the case. Y'all really don't need to tell me more about Karlach. I promise, heart emoji. Even if I'm wrong, which still seems unclear, and she can't be locked out, it does affect your relationship with her and will, and the racism is the point. It's super fucking unnecessary. Alright, the quote tweets are a goddamn cesspool. I never said don't play the game. I said repeatedly, I love it. It's good to deal with racism in fiction, but doing so disproportionately affects BIPOC. No, it doesn't. Turn the damn game off. Do y'all think we prance around every day not experiencing a lick of discrimination? I think, based on many different people who exist from many different backgrounds, you will have levels of discrimination, and some people who are black or BIPOC, indigenous people of color, you won't experience a damn thing. Maybe because you don't care, or you're around an area where you don't see it. Like I've said numerous times, every black person, despite what you listen to on Twitter, does not have the same experience. Tieflings, orcs, goblins, and drow are heavily steeped in racist, bioessentialist lore. Attaching intrinsic morality to race is not creative. I don't blame Laren for that. It's not their lore, but there are far more interesting conflicts that have nothing to do with race. Like, y'all really don't see the problem with a devil did something evil and so all its descendants for the rest of time are evil. You don't see the problem with categorizing a large swath of people as evil and calling them pejoratives based on their appearance or heritage. If the Tiefling Druid conflict in the Grove was really about the Tieflings being refugees and not their race, the Druids at the gate wouldn't have yelled slurs. The Druid missing a locket inside wouldn't have threatened to beat a Tiefling child for stealing from him. And it's funny to watch y'all go, not all druids. Really? So you can do that, but I can't point out that even my traveling companions, whose favor I've earned, implying that I'm good for a devil, is really gross. Y'all are over here going, all fictional lives matter. Come on. And don't play a Tiefling or drow isn't a solution. Yes, it is. If you want to not have to deal with this, apparently based on this game, there are other options that you could pick. Pick them so that you don't have to deal with this nonsense. I challenge y'all to be brave enough to critique the media you consume. Critiquing something isn't the same as condemning it. I know I've pointed out something specific and right here because overwhelmingly BIPOC are speaking up. It's not bad faith to ask why BIPOC don't get the same level playing field in media, from character creators to stereotypes to in-game parallels to our real trauma. We are constantly misrepresented. Meaningful depictions of race equal forcing BIPOC to relive trauma without consent. Who is asking for your consent in a video game of fictional characters like goblins, Tieflings, wizards? Oh my, you don't get to be the judge, jury, and executioner on what a game developing company does in terms of story and what they want to do with that story. Asking for your consent like this is sex is mind-boggling. And again, I like the game. I really do. Come to your own conclusions about whether or not you want to play based on your comfort. I'm not telling anyone to boycott or anything, but the fantasy racism is ingrained into the story and it does get tiring. That's all I said. And you know what? I could understand. Human beings have to go through the daily rustle and bustle of living life, working a 9 to 5, working a night shift, working an entire day shift, and they want to come home and they want to pick up a controller and go into the fantasy world of a video game or a football field or a basketball field or for some reason a hockey stadium because you're that type of weirdo. But you have to understand, sometimes based on a few games, you're going to get a little bit of real world experience. And it could be annoying to you. It's annoying to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you got really two options, only two. You can either keep playing and try really hard to go into that escapism route, or turn the fucking game off, because it ain't that damn deep and it ain't ever gonna be that damn serious. It is a virtual world. None of them people gonna come out the screen and hurt you. They're not coming out the PC to touch you in your ass crack. None of these things are going to happen. Bore me if you want with the institutional powers and how this trauma goes on without your consent, and my response will simply be, turn it off. Why? It's a video game. You have the power to do it. You have the intestinal fortitude to press start and select power off, because it's a video game. It ain't supposed to harm you. It's supposed to give you whiplash knowing the fact that you're wasting time yelling at a bunch of people, whether it be single player or online, even though I've already stated you plebeians don't like single player games, but that's besides the point. It ain't that deep. It'll never be that deep. And the fact that people are making think pieces about a fucking video game shows me how bored you all actually are. There will be real world experience in damn near any game in the modern era. You're gonna get it, whether it be about the blacks, the whites, the Latinos, the Asians, the Spanish. It will be there whether you like it or not. Take the time to know about it before you buy it, or if you already bought it, turn the game off and return it. If you're gonna be bitching about this, if you're gonna make Twitter threads saying blah 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 blah, guess what? You're subject to criticism and going around trying to speak as if you have every knowledge under the sun, thinking that every black person is gonna care. Sorry to break it to you, that's not gonna go out the way you think it is. Subscribe to the channel. I will see you all in the next one. You know what? I might buy Baldur's Gate. No, I won't. I'm playing Spider-Man 2 when it comes out.